Welcome to English Language Academy. The Wise Old Owl, English Story Chapter 1, The Forest Home. In a quiet forest far from cities and towns, there lived a wise old owl named Oliver. Oliver was a barn owl with bright golden eyes that seemed to see everything. His feathers were soft and white, and he perched high in the tallest tree of the forest. The other animals respected Oliver because he was not only wise but also kind. Whenever anyone had a problem, they came to him for advice. The forest was a magical place where all creatures lived in harmony. Birds chirped happily, rabbits hopped through the bushes, and squirrels raced up and down the trees. There was a clear river that ran through the forest, providing water for everyone. The trees stood tall and proud, their leaves rustling gently in the wind. This was Oliver's home, and he loved it dearly. But the peace of the forest was sometimes disturbed. One day, the young rabbit named Ruby ran to Oliver's tree, her small paws trembling. "Oliver," she called out, her voice shaking, "something is wrong." Oliver opened his eyes and looked down from his branch. "What is it, Ruby?" he asked in his calm, deep voice. "There are strange noises near the river," Ruby said. "It sounds like growling, and it's scaring everyone." Oliver tilted his head, listening carefully. "Let me come down," he said. He spread his wings and glided gracefully to the ground. Ruby led him toward the river, her little ears twitching nervously. When they reached the river, Oliver saw a group of animals huddled together. There were deer, foxes, and even a family of raccoons. They all looked frightened. "What is troubling you?" Oliver asked. "We heard loud growls," said a young deer. "It sounded like a bear, but we haven't seen any bears in this forest for years." Oliver thought for a moment. "Stay together and stay calm," he advised. "Let me investigate." Chapter 2. The Mystery Unfolds. Oliver flew up high into the sky, his sharp eyes scanning the forest below. He circled the river area, listening for the mysterious growls. After a while, he spotted something unusual near the edge of the forest. There was a small group of men with machines. They were cutting down trees and making loud noises. "Humans," Oliver murmured to himself. He knew they could be both helpful and harmful. The noise and the fear among the animals were caused by these machines, not a bear. Oliver returned to the group of animals and explained what he had seen. "There are humans cutting down trees," he said. "They mean no harm to us directly, but they are disturbing our home. We must find a way to speak to them." "But how can we talk to humans?" asked Ruby. "They don't understand us. We don't speak their language," Oliver agreed. "But we can show them how important this forest is." Chapter 3. The Plan. Oliver gathered the animals of the forest for a meeting. They sat in a large circle under the moonlight. Everyone was there: birds, rabbits, foxes, deer, and even the shy hedgehogs. Oliver explained his plan. "We will show the humans the beauty of our forest and how much it means to us," he said. "If they see how we live here, maybe they will think twice about cutting down the trees." The animals nodded. They trusted Oliver's wisdom. Each group of animals had a role to play. The birds would sing their sweetest songs. The deer would show their graceful movements. The foxes and raccoons would demonstrate their cleverness by building small shelters with sticks. Everyone agreed to do their best. Chapter 4. The Human Encounter. The next morning, Oliver led the animals to the area where the humans were working. The men were busy with their machines, and the noise was loud. But when the animals appeared, the men stopped and stared in amazement. The birds began to sing, filling the air with melodies. The deer moved gracefully through the clearing, and the smaller animals worked together to build a tiny shelter. Oliver flew down and perched on a low branch, watching the humans closely. One of the men, a young worker, seemed especially moved. "Look at them," he he said to his companions. "This forest is their home. Maybe we should think about what we're doing here." The other men hesitated. They had never seen the forest animals so close before, and the sight touched their hearts. "Maybe we can talk to our boss," said another worker. "We can ask if there's another way to get wood without harming this forest." Chapter 5: A New Beginning. The humans left that day, and the forest was quiet again. The animals waited anxiously, wondering if their efforts had worked. A few days later, the men returned, but this time they brought their boss. The boss looked around the forest and listened to the workers' stories about the animals. "This forest is special," the boss said. "We will find another area to work in, one that is not home to so many creatures." The animals cheered when they heard the news. Oliver smiled, proud of his community. "Together, we can achieve anything," he said. From that day on, the forest remained a safe and peaceful place. The humans even planted new trees to replace the ones they had cut down. Oliver continued to watch over the forest, ready to help whenever his wisdom was needed. And so, the wise old owl and his friends lived happily, knowing they had protected their home for generations to come. The end. Thanks for watching English Language Academy. Subscribe now.